Daniel Siegel, psychologist and author of many books, including a great book called Brainstorm, wrote that unfortunately, what others believe about us can actually shape what we believe about ourselves and how we behave. So when we believe and project to our kids that belief that teenagers are unmotivated, out of control, lazy, and that there is nothing we can do to help them out, guess what? They will behave according to that belief. Hi, I am Marcy Amaro, and I am here to help you and be empowered with the tools and strategies you need to design a family and a life that are set for success. And in this video, in this 6-video series on understanding adolescence, I want to talk about the essence of what adolescence is. And the first thing I want to address is this notion that we have been fed a bunch of lies about what teens are and what the teenage period is. And I want to address those lies head on because those myths that we have actually believed might be part of what is keeping us from developing strong, powerful, fruitful relationships with our teens. Because as Daniel Siegel said in the quote at the beginning of this video, what we believe and we project to them is going to in many ways shape how they behave and what they believe about themselves. So one of the very overlying common beliefs about teenage years is that everything has to do with hormones. That they have these raging hormones that control everything that they do. But did you know that in reality, the hormone levels for teenagers are pretty much the same as for young adults? So it's not about having raging hormones during the teenage years. The issue is that for the first time in their developmental stages, they are having to manage and control those hormones. So the hormones have been dormant, so to speak. Imagine like a volcano that's dormant, and all of a sudden it awakens and it starts sending out all of these fumes and lava and all these things. That is similar to what happens during the teenage years. So it's not the levels themselves, it's the ability to control them, right? And all of that has to do with brain development. So a lot of the extreme emotions, a lot of the swift changes in mood and actions, a lot of the things that happen because of all these processes that are taking on in the brain. Remember that our teenagers' brains are not fully developed yet. They are in the process. So if we understand that this is a stage similar to the stages that your baby goes through as they develop, then we can start taking a step back and looking at what might be going on at the developmental level so that we can better relate to them in a social, connected way, right, at that level. So our job as parents at this level is not to make sure that everything goes perfectly right. Our job is not to control and safeguard everything around them. Our job is not to put them in a bubble or to tell them everything that they need to do. Our job is to understand that it's a mental process. Their brains are going through a series of very deep changes that cause a lot of the turmoil or a lot of the lack of connection that we might be experiencing at this point. So if we understand a little bit better what is going on in the brain, then we can better understand, relate, and accept some of the things. Now, I'm not saying that you're just going to sit back and say, oh, it's a process, they're going through these changes, so I just have to take it. No, we have to correct, right? It's the same thing with a little kid. They're going through these stages and there's a lot of things that they can't do yet, but just because of that, we don't just sit back and say, oh, it'll pass. We help them, we give them tools. So the same thing happens with the teenage years. So our job as parents is twofold. Is one, to not jump to the conclusion that whatever they're doing because of hormones or because they simply want to be defiant. There are reasons behind all of these that we will cover in the next 5 videos. And our second job is to protect that special giftedness that makes them unique, to protect that special something that makes them who they are, and to encourage the development of those talents and those abilities. And that's our job as parents. See, as I discussed in another video, the schools job is to give them the knowledge and the information that they need mentally, right? Like academically. But our job as a family is to prepare the whole individual. And a big part of that is to recognize that each of your kids has a unique, special something that they need to bring into the world. So if you stop thinking of your job as the parent of a teen, that your job is to protect them from everything that's around them and to keep them from failing. And if you start to think that your job is to give them the encouragement, give them the tools, give them the strategies so that as they struggle through life, as they fail, and as they test new theories, they have a way to bounce back, then everything shifts. Harvard University's Center for the Developing Child did a study in which they discovered that the single most common indicator of resilience being built in a child is having a stable, committed relationship with a parent, caregiver, or some other adult. So what is it that we can do to begin? What is the key to start with? We have to make sure that we are our kids' one stable, committed relationship with an adult who cares. That's our job. So focus on that. How can you show your kid today that you care? How can you show your kid today that you're there for them? That you're committed to being next to them no matter what, regardless of what might be going on? And how can you start building that bridge that will help them reconnect with you? On the next few videos, we're going to cover several different aspects of what might be causing this tension. We're going to talk about risky behaviors. We're going to talk about anxiety and depression. We are going to talk about setting boundaries and talking about technology with your kids. So stick around for all the videos in the series. I will post one every Monday and Wednesday for the next 3 weeks to help all of us reconnect with our teens and build families and lives that are set for success. I'm Marcia Amaro, and I'll see you on the next video.